Hello and welcome back. Today's going to be a Q&A episode. We haven't done one of these since I think we first started the channel. I should probably look and see how long ago it was. One second. Okay, so I found it. Our first ever Q&A was 2 years ago. 2 years ago. I don't know how far into 2 years ago it was. It's not giving me details. But, August 14th, 2022. So it's almost been 3 years. It's just shy of 3 years. I don't know when this is going to go live. It might be at the beginning of August. So we're going to call it 3. We're going to call it 3. So I wanted to thank you all for submitting the questions. Most of these are coming from Instagram. So if you don't follow Acme Acres on Instagram, you definitely should. It's always linked below, I think, but I would highly recommend that. That's where I post very infrequently, but I try to post quicker updates than you're going to get in the videos because the videos are a little bit filmed ahead. So you're kind of seeing things after they've happened. Instagram's definitely where I'm trying to post a little bit more real-time stuff. I'm not good at it. I just forget, okay? Life happens and I'm recording, but then I'm actually living my life and it's difficult, but I need to get better at it. So this is me trying to hold my future self accountable. But I wanted to answer all these questions that you guys have. So what do you listen to when working on a project/chore? Any recent recommendations? So this kind of vacillates between podcasts and audiobooks. I have some podcasts that are like homemaking based or something that I'm really either struggling with or trying to learn more about. Those are going to be specific to you, but I would really recommend kind of looking into the niche topics that you want to learn more about on the whatever podcast app you use. And I kind of pop that in if I have the brain capacity to learn for that day. And sometimes I don't. And that's when I put in an audiobook. The recent ones that I've just finished listening to, one was Mary, and that was good. I was entertained. It wasn't my favorite book in the whole world, but I was definitely entertained. And then I'm currently listening to Butcher, which again has been very interesting so far. I think I'm more than halfway through. I don't really know where it's going. It's supposed to be a horror book, and it's definitely had some like gross anatomy descriptions, but it's not really horroring me, if you know what I'm saying. So again, I'm only halfway through, so I don't know if it is going to be a favorite or it isn't going to be a favorite. Right now, it's looking like it's not, but there's always time. I listened to Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. I think I've read or listened to every Grady Hendrix book that's ever come out. This is the newest one, I believe. It's not my favorite. This sounds so negative. I need to find some good things that I've read recently that I can tell you about. I love a lot of Grady Hendrix stuff though, and we'll get to that in a later question. I've started listening to A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. I'm struggling to get into it just because it is a lot of world building and character development right now. So it's hard for me to listen to it while I'm doing something else. It's one of those where I really need to just be driving or something. As far as physical books, I'm not currently reading any physical books, but I think I am going to. I've already started reading it, but I want to finish reading it. It is C.S. Lewis, The Screw Tape Letters. And that's something that's been on my list for a really long time. I started just listening to it and it was maybe like 10 minutes in and I realized I have to have a physical copy of this book so I can take notes. It is amazing. It is a lot, but I think the themes in it just reveal a lot about human nature. And I don't know, I love the way that it's written as well. So I'd probably recommend that. But as far as the question, yeah, I will either podcast or audiobook. For sure. And I'm normally doing one of those if I am doing anything in the house. What am I going to make next in the kitchen? Well, tonight we are having Luke's parents over for dinner. I am making a baked chicken situation that you saw me meal prep to put in the freezer a while ago. I think it was the sour cream chicken recipe. And you basically put breadcrumbs and butter and parsley on top and oh, it's delicious. I'm going to make baked potatoes again and then some green beans, just very casual. We'll probably have some ice cream for dessert. But as far as projects, I really want to make some beef stock. That is on my agenda for next week. I've got the beef bones in the freezer. I need to defrost them, probably pop them in the fridge today and let those get defrosted so I can make some beef broth. But yeah, that's the next like project I want to tackle as far as making things in the kitchen. Are you still planning on making a fire pit in the backyard? It's still such a great idea. Yeah, I think that's definitely still on our agenda. It's just there's so many things to do. It's like we need all the functional stuff to work first. We need like the structures, the gardens. I think that's probably what we're focusing the energy on. We've been organizing garages. You've seen me do that in a previous video, putting things where they're supposed to go and really getting a handle on the systems that need to be in place for the house to work really well. And to do that, we need a clean slate to start as a baseline. That way everything has a place to live and we can put it back there. So I think all of the outside projects will probably get done this fall and winter, if I had to assume. Productivity tips. I work from home now. I love it. However, I feel less productive at times. How do you get yourself to do stuff around the house? Is there something that you do? So these are two different questions. I've got different versions of this question. Productivity, I don't know. That's a hard word for me. I am definitely a procrastinator. So what I would normally say is if you're thinking about doing it, just do it. Just start. Jump up and just do it instead of continuing to scroll or doing that other thing first. If I can do the hard things first, then everything else is fine. I really do believe that there's something to the just making the list and then going after it, rather than me trying to plan out how to do it or how best to do it or what order to do it in. I think all of those things is just distracting me from starting and then actually doing something. I hope that makes sense.
I'm sliding in here to talk to you about today's sponsor and my favorite thing to drink instead of coffee, mud water. Now, I've worked with mud water in the past and you already know what I love about it. It's got no added sugar and a fraction of the caffeine that a regular cup of coffee has. It's also got so many good things in here to help support my mood. I feel like it helps support my mental stability, but that's my own claim, not theirs. It's got cacao, lion's mane, cordyceps, chaga, reishi, mushrooms, cinnamon, turmeric, Himalayan salt, and masala chai. So it tastes like a lovely, spicy hot chocolate. And I know that it's giving me the actual brain energy that I need, and I'm not going to crash afterwards. So my favorite way to prepare this right now, because it is summer, is to put some honey in a cup. And then I'm gonna put my tablespoon of mud water in there, use the frother to mix it up really well with some super hot water. And then I'm gonna throw a bunch of ice cubes in there, top it off with a bunch of milk, and that's it for me. So I normally drink this as a cold drink, something to refresh me in the afternoon after I've been out all day. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. This rechargeable frother is the chicest thing I've ever seen. It's got a cap that actually covers the frother part, and you just charge it up here, and you don't have to hold the button the entire time. You hold it once and it's on, and that's it. It doesn't turn on, or it won't spin when the cap is on, which keeps me from making an entire mess out of things. They also have a matcha, and I have yet to try this, but this is the next thing that I want to do. So same thing as the actual mud water. It is matcha. It's got all the different cordyceps and mushrooms, the reishi, cinnamon, turmeric, and Himalayan salt. So it's going to give me all the good things of matcha, plus the focus, energy, and immunity support that comes from all of the other mushrooms. So if you are looking to try out mud water for yourself, you can head to the link below, use the code Acme Acres, and you're going to get 15% off your order plus the free frother. Again, you just go down to that link, code Acme Acres, and you will save 15%. So yeah, let me drink this real quick so I can get my energy back and finish what I was doing.
How did the 4th of July party go? I think it was great. I think it was very successful. No one died. Everyone has all their fingers. Everyone was fed. No one got bit by a snake. I don't know. I think those are probably the major things that would have made it a disaster. I think it was really good. I think we know how to make the flow work better for like prepping leading up to it. I think we have some ideas for what we want to do next time, and the fireworks show that Luke put on was amazing. So super stoked with that. I hope you guys enjoyed being able to see that. And yeah, I had a wonderful time. I wish I'd gotten to spend more time with each person that came to the party, but I think again, that goes back to better planning so that everything is kind of like ready to go and I don't have to fiddle with anything. So you live and you learn. Is the fishing spot a pond? Do you guys have to add fish to it? Can you eat those fish? It is a pond. It's the pond in our property up. It's basically in the front yard of the house. And we have not ever added any fish to it. We do know that they did stock the pond before we bought this property. We don't know how far before we bought the property that they stocked it, but we do know that was a thing that the previous owner did. And yeah, I'm assuming you can eat them. We haven't. We keep throwing them back because, you know, fishing, you want to be able to keep doing it. We have no idea how many are in there. Seems like a lot, but who knows? But yeah, I'm assuming we could probably eat those fish in the future. What are the kitties' names? How are they adjusting? We live for their cameos. I'm glad you guys are living for their cameos. They're good. The big black and white tuxedo cat is Veda, and then the small gray cat that you're not really seeing very much is Lona. That's because she is still mostly living in the master bedroom because she is a terrorizer and she has gone after the other cat a couple of times. She's been on medicine for a while now. We are trying to let them out more regularly, but I think Luke and I both have a little bit of like PTSD from the fights in the house, and we're very cautious about it, which I think is a good thing. But hopefully they will be fully reunited, and you know, we're just kind of seeing how it goes. But they're doing well in their separate areas, so that's the best we can hope for. Would you ever do a meet and greet? Honestly, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm of two minds. I've seen it be a really positive, fun experience. And then I've also kind of seen the other side of it, and I don't know where or why. I don't think anyone would really just show up for me. I think it would be a Luke thing. I don't know if he's ever done a meet and greet. I think he's done a meet up, but I don't know if he's ever done a meet and greet. I think that's more of like a conference. Festival's the wrong word. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but like PAX and TwitchCon and things like that. I think that is a better case scenario for doing something like that because it is monitored and people are coming in and, you know, all of that. But I don't know. I think that's an interesting idea, but me personally, I don't know. I don't know if it's for me or if anyone would care. What is my favorite cookie? Oh man. I make a lot of chocolate chip cookies, so you would probably think it's that. It's definitely not. Those are good, but I think my favorite cookie is probably going to be a really good oatmeal raisin cookie. And I've still yet to perfect that recipe on my own or find one that I like the most. I've tried a whole bunch, but they're just not quite right. Something's not right. So I'm trying to work on that. Second to that would probably be a Linzer cookie, which is basically just a shortbread butter cookie with jam in the middle of it. I love a Jammy Dodger, which is, I think it's a European, British, Scottish, Irish, something like that company. They're delicious. They're really good. I've made some before and they were good, but you know, Jammy Dodger, it's hard to replicate that. Does the house function as well as planned, and or is there anything you would change? I think that it functions as planned. I think that we've not had a scenario where we don't have enough room for people when we're having a party, you know, including Luke and I think there were 40 people at the party on the 5th. So and it did not feel crowded. I think that's a really good amount for this house. I probably wouldn't want to, I don't know if I'd want to throw a party bigger than that just because of the car situation. Everybody's cars fit and everybody got in and out fine. But I think any more than that, and we would probably run into a situation where we're not able to fit everyone's vehicles into the front court driveway thing. But no, I think so far I wouldn't change anything, honestly. I am just still working on putting everything where it's supposed to go. So I guess I won't really know until I've filled up each area with the things that live there. And then I'll know if I I wish I'd put more storage in this room or that room or whatever. But yeah, no, I think we did a pretty darn good job, if I do say so. I really like this question. I don't know if this is exactly what they meant to put, but it says, how do you continue to choose good and not drink anymore? And I don't know if you meant to say good or God. I'm not really sure, but I'm going to focus on the God part. If that's not for you, that's totally okay, but this is just my personal experience. The answer to that question is God for me personally. Having a relationship with a higher power of my understanding is the only way that I've ever been able to be completely abstinent from alcohol for any amount of time. I've talked about my sobriety journey in detail on the podcast that I have. If you don't know, I used to do a podcast. It's called Conscious Contact. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts. I think it's always linked below. I haven't posted a video on there in quite a while, but I really enjoyed that season of life and being able to dive into some deeper topics and be able to interview my friends. There's lots of familiar faces on there, so that was a blast. But yeah, I think for me personally, I go to Alcoholics Anonymous, and that is something that completely changed my life. And if you have struggles with alcohol or addiction, there is hope, there is a way out, and I will put those resources down below for you as well. And I would recommend, why not just check it out, see what happens. For the car guys out there, are we ever getting a garage tour? As soon as he brings the cars over and gets them in there, I am sure he will. That's an ongoing process. It's just there's a lot of other stuff that we're having to do and focus on prior to that. But yeah, I can't wait to see that come to life. Him doing all that work in there to get it ready is amazing. And life happens, and we had the party, and now we've had to throw stuff back in there, and we need to reorganize again and find out permanent places for all of those supplies and stuff to live. So it's just, I think working on things like that is better done, like I said, in the fall and the winter, so that we are not absolutely dying, and we would be, more willing to stay out there and finish the project. What's your favorite go-to recipes? I love watching the cooking and baking vids. I would probably say chicken and dumplings is high on my rotation list. It uses a whole chicken, so I get not only a full meal that is delicious, but I also get a chicken carcass to do the chicken broth with. It's relatively easy and really good, and it makes a whole lot. Luke really likes the rustic sausage and potato soup that I make from the Prairie Homestead, which is zuppa toscana in this household. It's not allowed to be called anything else. Again, I don't know if that recipe is online or only in the cookbook, but I will link whatever I can find below. I love just a stir fry. I love a good katsu chicken situation made with the Good Ranchers seed oil-free chicken nuggets. That's really tasty. And then I can't remember the name of the sauce, but Luke has got, it's like a Japanese barbecue sauce. It's really liquidy though, so it goes on kind of like soy sauce. I will try to find that and put it somewhere. But yeah, a lot of Asian dishes, pasta dishes, like goulash. I have a particular affinity for goulash. I love that. Like from scratch hamburger helper, so like a cheesy goulash basically. Those are my go-to pasta dishes. I'm trying to think of anything else. Normally, that's what I would really like to go for. And then just the basics, like a meat, a veg, and a starch. That's easy to throw together. If I can just remember to have at least one of each of those items on hand, I can make dinner, which is really helpful. It takes a lot of the pressure off. What has been the most fun part of your journey thus far? I don't know what part of the journey you mean. I don't know if you mean my life, this house. I think the most fun part for me is being able to see people enjoy it. That's why we built the place, and being able to see it filled up and people being able to take advantage of the property and be able to pal around. Like the guys went fishing. We had the 5th of July party, Christmas and Thanksgiving. I mean, seeing the house full and serving its intended purpose is probably my favorite part, honestly. Do you wish you restored the old property instead of destroying, even though you knew it was easier? So first part, no. I liked that house, but I don't think it would have turned out the way that we really would have envisioned it. I think we would have a lot of wants still, and I think we would have had to add a lot onto it, a lot more than we thought we would have to add onto it. And we definitely didn't know it was easier. Definitely not easier in any way, shape, or form. And that decision was ultimately made by the fact that there was so much asbestos in the property, the house, outside, everything. It was kind of out of our hands at that point. It would make zero sense to have redone the house. So I'm grateful that we didn't really have to make that decision and that everything worked out. Thank God. I get this next question from people in my personal life all the time, and from you guys as well. Any big travel plans upcoming? No, I don't ever want to travel again. This is my retreat. This is my vacation. This is my, there's a place close to here called Primland, which is really big. I think you can golf, you can fish, you can do falconry and all kinds of stuff out there. And it's more of like a rustic vibe. This is my Primland. We built this house with knowing for the both of us that we just want to be here, and land is what drew us in initially. And then we've created this spot where neither one of us want to leave. So Luke doesn't leave at all. And then I leave on the odd occasion that I have to go run errands, which is always such a drag. Because it's so, we spent so much time carefully crafting a place that we love to be in that I don't see any reason to go anywhere else. Do I like to travel? Sure. I would love to maybe go visit Japan at some point, places like that, but not for the foreseeable future. Like, I don't even want to think about it. I have no intentions of traveling. If you could pick only one holiday to fully go all out, which is your pick? This is probably going to surprise everybody. I love Halloween. I really do. Halloween is definitely my favorite vibe for a holiday. The fall, the feeling, the way it looks outside, the crisp air. But I really like decorating for Christmas. So if I'm gonna pick one that I already go all out for, see one of the previous videos for the Christmas tree tour, I'm gonna pick Christmas. It's definitely a nostalgic thing for me, and more is more during Christmas, in my opinion. And I feel like you can have so many different types of Christmas themes, whereas Halloween, I'm only really drawn to two. So I wouldn't really decorate with like pink punk Halloween or anything. But with Christmas, I love all of them. I love the traditional, I love the modern, I love the like sweets or the girly or the whatever. I love them all. I love them all. And I love a good Christmas tree. And yeah, I think I would probably pick Christmas. What is the king of pies? This is a wonderful question. I've messed this recipe up in a recent video, but strawberry pie with a high fat, so non-butter pie crust is definitely my favorite. I'm not a huge pie person. Like, I'm not a big pecan pie person. I'm not a big pumpkin pie person. I'm not really even a big apple pie person or cherry pie or anything, but strawberry pie, I can get down with that. So I would probably say strawberry pie. How did you manage all those guests? Did they all stay in rooms? I'm assuming you're referring to the party and everybody that stayed. So they did all stay in rooms, the guys that came from out of town. I guess theoretically everyone that stayed the night of the 5th could have stayed in a bed if they wanted, but I think some of them just chose not to. It's wherever they fell asleep. But as a refresher, there are 3 beds, so 2 bedrooms, 3 beds above the garage with a huge sectional sofa that could probably sleep another 2 people. So we could pack a crap ton of people up there if they knew each other. Then on the 2nd floor, there is a king bed in one room, a queen in the other, and then a pull-out queen in the couch that's up there. So that's at least 6 people if you wanted to fill it to the brim. And then down on the 1st floor, there's a queen bed. So we could pack a whole lot of people in here, and that's discounting the fact that we've got a blow-up mattress, a big sectional in the basement, and then the movie theater with reclining chairs, and the couch in the living room. If we wanted to pack this house full, we could fit quite a few people in here. But yeah, the people that came from out of town had their own beds, and then the extra people that stayed on the night of the 5th, I think they just kind of decided where they wanted to sleep. What type of content do you enjoy filming for the videos? Love all of them. Thank you. Oh, I don't know. Cooking stresses me out, so it's probably not those. DIYs have been really fun. I've done a couple of those recently. I don't know how much you guys are enjoying them, but I've really enjoyed being able to do some of that in real life and then being able to share that. And hopefully, if you guys have been thinking about doing it, it inspires you to just go ahead and do it. I do like this is very self-serving, but if I do like a clean with me video, it does make me clean, you know, like it makes me finish the project. Like with the garage, I thought, you know what, if I decide to film this, it's gonna make me do it until it's completely done. So I would probably say those, just because of the added benefit of not only being able to have like a clean with me video, which I really enjoy watching, but it makes me actually finish the project. How did you and Luke meet? I got this question a lot, so I wanted to mention it, but I think we told this story on the original Q&A video, so I will link that below if you wanna know. It's not a secret, but we answered it together, which I think might be more fun to watch. Do you feel like you are constantly fighting against nature, taking back land? Yeah, I did. I don't think that I fully grasped how much the like roughage tries to take back over when you're clearing something, or how quickly things are going to grow and sprout in places that you've like clear cut. I was just really ignorant to that. So yeah, it is a constant battle against nature, against the plants, the weeds, the animals. I don't think I was quite prepared for the whole land management part of this project, but it's something that we're continuing to learn. And in that vein, I think we're going to get a piece of big equipment soon. So hopefully that'll help us with that land management situation. What has been the most exciting part about having the new house and land for homesteading? The new house I've kind of already answered. The land is just the possibility of it all. Being able to daydream about the garden, what I want to grow, and not only that, but learn the skills behind it. I've wanted to garden and do things like that for a really long time, but I've just kind of done it really lazily and not looked into it, not taking care of what I'm actually growing, not taking the time to look after them and know what they need and how to adjust things if they're not doing well. So this has really forced me into a learning posture and to really pay attention to what's going on the property, which is also helpful for being in the moment, to really ground myself. And it makes me really focus on what's going on here and not on what's going on in the broader scheme of the world or social media or things like that. It really is a place of peace, and it restores me back to focusing on what's important. What was the inspiration for your house and why? I got a couple questions like this. I can't remember if we answered this in that video because I think we had decided already what kind of house we were going to build. But long story short, when we decided, okay, we got to tear this house down, we got to build a house from scratch. Luke was looking up different house plans, and a lot of the ones that we were both liking came from the same architect. And so we thought, why don't we reach out to him and see if he'd be willing to tweak a couple or put one or two together and add what we really wanted. And he came up with this place. So it's Ken Peeper. And this is, I think he said this is the last house he was going to design. So that's also really cool. We want him to come out and see the place. He was supposed to do that, but then COVID happened and he wasn't really comfortable. He's a little bit older and didn't really feel comfortable flying and being around all the people. So we would really like for him to come out now that it is finished. But yeah, we just really enjoyed his style of design, and everything in this house is like on a 45-degree angle, other than the actual bedrooms that are rectangles or squares. It's like every hallway or corner is cut off at an angle, which is really interesting. I think that adds to the feeling of the house and the uniqueness of it. But yeah, he just had a lot of style elements that we really enjoyed. And we very minimally tweaked the layout of some of the rooms, like the master bathroom and closet we tweaked, and then the master kitchen, we just switched the layout of a couple things. But other than that, the entire exterior, I think we've completely left as is. So yeah, we had a decent vision once he gave us the house plan, and then it was a lot of conversations between Luke and I and seeing what was out there, because we worked with a designer and they would show us some things, and him and I would really say, you know what, I think we should do a little more research and see what else is out there rather than just looking at two options and picking one out of two. So we spent a lot of our personal time just kind of looking at different things and different options. And I think all in all, we had a lot of fun with it. So I got this next question a lot of different ways, and I feel like I've spoken about it on this channel, but maybe it's only on the podcast channel that I've talked about it. But the question is, baby coming soon, question mark. I know that I've gone into way more detail on the podcast about this, so I'll link that episode, but I'm not gonna really give you all the ins and outs because I talked about that entire decision process and journey. But no, there will not be any children. I got my fallopian tubes removed back in 2017 as a form of permanent birth control because I have chosen to not have children. So I am child-free by choice. And Luke has never wanted children either. That was a decision that we had made together. I mean, when we first started dating, that was a conversation that we had. We already knew that about each other from being friends prior to dating. But no, there will not be any children. Luke has nieces and nephews, or nieces and a nephew, and then I have a nephew. So that's all the children that we need to have. I'm just gonna put this question on the screen because I can't say that on this channel. The answer is yes. The answer is a little bit of yes to the first and a lot of yes to the second part. The next question is kind of logistical. How are you two getting internet in a remote area? I'm building secluded, am curious. So technically, we are not in a remote area. That is something that's really deceptive about this property, and it's something that we both realized the benefit and potential of when we came out here. We are very close to town. People are inside city limits on either side of us. It's just our little strip in the middle is not in city limits. We are, 5 minutes from a Sheetz gas station. We're 10 minutes from a Walmart. We are very, very close to town. We do not live in a rural area in the slightest. I wouldn't even, I say that we're sub-rural when I'm referring to it, but I don't even think we would be considered sub-rural. We just live in a small rural town. So there's rural areas around us, but we live really, really close to town. So because of that, we had, I think, like a Starlink situation when we had the old house here just to be able to have internet, or Luke had bought Starlink, I think maybe, as an option for us because we really didn't know how we were going to get internet out here. But what we did is have fiber ran from, I believe the business at the end of our street has fiber. So we had them run that all the way down the driveway to the house. So we do have really fast fiber internet, but I've heard really good things about Starlink. I think that's the option that most people who do actually live in a secluded rural area are taking because it seems to work really seamlessly. So I guess I don't have experience with it, but that's probably what I would recommend for you. Can we have a tattoo tour? Again, I think I did this on the podcast. I feel like I talked about this on the podcast. I don't remember though. I have quite a few tattoos. I don't know, and this is something that I think I want you all to let me know in the comments about. Another question that I get really frequently is, are you going to do another episode of the podcast, or are you going to start the podcast again? And I've kind of, toyed with this idea back and forth. Setting up for this Q&A episode definitely made me have memories of the podcast because it's so dark in here. I had to set up one of the lights that I used for the podcast. And this front-facing camera in a chair is very reminiscent of how I used to film, but I don't know. If I did, I think Luke had said that I could probably just post those podcast episodes here. I don't know if you all would be interested in having both of those different types of content on here. So I guess that question kind of goes to you. One, would you want any more podcast episodes? Would you be interested in having more of those conversations? And two, if you did, would you prefer them to be on the podcast channel, or would you prefer them to be here on Acme Acres and it kind of be like maybe one video a month was the podcast episode? But yeah, I'm open to it. I still haven't made a decision, but you guys let me know. Top 3 book recommendations. Now I'm going to go into my Goodreads app for this because I don't know. I think that this is a very hard question. Okay, I'm gonna go through a few because I have a few. So top 3, this is not going to be that because that's pigeonholing me too much. The first one that popped in my head is Ender's Game. I think I always kind of mention that because it's the first sci-fi book that I was ever really interested in, and I just think it's written so well. And I guess technically it's kind of young adult novel-ish, but it was so forward in the way it wanted me to think that I really appreciated it. So, and if you're like, oh, I don't know, sci-fi, if you liked The Hunger Games, you should read Ender's Game. Just gonna say that. I don't want to say anything else about it. You should read it. Illusions, The Adventures of a Reluctant Messiah. It's a fictional book by Richard Bach, or Bach. Don't know how to say his last name. But the themes in that are really good. I enjoyed the thought-provoking nature of his writing style. I really liked Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. Please forgive me if I'm butchering that. Really enjoyed that book. I also enjoy a lot of like Agatha Christie, The Thursday Murder Club. Really interested in the show that's coming out based on that book. I read those books. Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance by Robert Pirsig. Another one of those like quasi spiritual books that just made me look at things in a different way. And it reminded me of my papa. He has ridden motorcycles for as long as I can remember. And I don't know, it was something that made me feel closer to him and was also really interesting to look at life through that lens as well. A lot of the books that I'm going to mention are like spiritual in nature. So I'm going to try to find some actual fiction books. Anything Stephen King, big Stephen King fan. The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls, I really enjoyed that. The Keeper, oh my gosh. Okay, I'm having a revelation as I'm looking at my read list. So you remember, I don't know if you watched the video where I talked about the show Department Q that just came on Netflix. I really loved it. One of the best series that I've seen in a long time. It's got the guy from Discovery of Witches in it. I've read the first book in that series. I'm just realizing now, and I gave it 5 stars. I did not know because it's called The Keeper of Lost Causes. It's by, I'm assuming you say that name, Jesse Alder Olson. I had no idea. I'm blowing my own mind. That makes me want to read the rest of the books because you would think each season is going to be, anyway. Really enjoyed that. The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, excuse me. The Psychopath Test by John Ronson. That one was really intriguing. I like Harlan Coben. Easy reads. It's nothing mind-blowing, but it is entertaining. If you're looking for horror, one of the most disturbing books I think I've ever read was called Stalker by, I don't even know if it's going to be on here. Oh, Lars Kepler. There we go. Yeah, if you want to be disturbed, definitely read that. Don't read it alone in your house. I would probably recommend that. Throwing one of the more spiritual ones in here, The Courage to be Disliked. Fantastic book. Gonna butcher this person's name, so I'm not even gonna say it, but there's only one named that. Mr. Mercedes, that's a Stephen King book. I think there's 3 of them. I really enjoyed that. Jenny Lawson is an interesting writer. She reminds me a lot of David Sedaris, which I have on my shelf back there. She writes very comedically about very hard things, and I really appreciate that. Again, a lot of Grady Hendrix. My favorite Grady Hendrix is probably Horror Store, which is a horror book that takes place in an IKEA. I think that's all I need to say. Bryan Cranston's book was really good, A Life in Parts. I did really enjoy that. The Chemist was good. Ooh, the Ninth House series by Leigh Bardugo. I think that's how you say her name. I've enjoyed all of those. Ooh, The Overstory by Richard Powers. That's probably one of the books that has pulled the most emotions out of me ever. Really ever. Really, really interesting set of stories. But yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it there as far as books go. What's something you do to settle down or unwind from the day? And why is it not gaming with Luke? JK on the last part. Yeah, if you've seen any of Luke's content, you would understand that that's definitely not an unwind and chill scenario. I am a bath taker. That's why I got the bathtub that I did in this house. Love a good bath. Again, I'm probably going to be watching like a YouTube video, catching up on a vlog from someone that I really like. The top people that I watch for vlogs is going to be Josie And then Lydia Millen. I really love, they're both British. Are you shocked? You shouldn't be. I like to watch a lot of like BritBox style shows and series. Anything British, I will watch it. If it's a period piece, I will watch it even more. I would like to say that I read, but I've definitely fallen out of that habit recently with everything going on outside at the house right now. But yeah, I normally really just get in the bed, zone out to a show, hang out with the cat, and think about being able to drink my coffee in the morning. I don't know if that makes me sound like an addict to caffeine, but I mean, I guess I am. But yeah, that is all the questions that we have time for today. Thank you all so much for submitting those and for watching. And I'm gonna say that's all, folks, and get outside and see how many more of my tomatoes are ripe. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.